That can improve. Listen, you got double duty this weekend as well, so we won't keep you for too long. Good luck in Bathurst. That's going on as well, and obviously best of luck in the rest of the season.
Thanks very much, and enjoy the rest of the race.
Yeah, obviously, Red Lion involved in the 12 Hours of Bathurst put on by iRacing. That is a number of people are doing double duty in this weekend. Obviously, it's a stint endurance race, so these guys obviously not driving this stint right now, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely, as they go along. But here's what's happened then a little bit earlier, and this is going to be on board Joshua Rogers. And look at that squeeze then from Sanchez. You'll see Sanchez goes in deep into one, and that compromises then. The back end's just sliding out. He can't get that car stopped. Rogers says, thank you very much. I'll take that inside line in that position. And look at him now. Rogers, he's ahead of Pinto, already made the move on Pinto, and now he's got Graham Carroll setting his sights.
That's incredible. That's incredible pace because, I mean, I said it. It was a line of cars in front. If he could get them one at a time and be efficient, it was there for the taking. But did I think it was possible considering the pace of some of these drivers? And when he finally did get ahead of Sanchez, as we saw, there was a gap he had to close down on. He did that by doing a 36.9, fastest lap of the race, and some half second faster than everyone over the last lap. That is ridiculous pace that he's been able to keep in that car.
Well, one thing that I will mention here is that was something that we've not talked about at all. It is looking after those rear tyres. Job's run wide. It's an easy mistake to make there into turn 2. And Job, in one instance, has lost 2 positions, although he's fighting this one with Rogers. It's almost a losing battle into 4. Don't make contact. They do make contact between the two of them. Here comes Pinto over the grass. He's trying to make some moves now. He's into the wall. Job ahead once again. Rogers, can they keep it side by side? Yes, they can. And here comes Pinto again. All of a sudden, this has come alive between these 3 drivers, all from one mistake here, Matt.
Yeah, and guess who's back? Sanchez is closing on this. These guys have lost spoon to group. Careful. What a battle between them. All 3 of them finding ways to stay in this fight, despite all 3 of them nearly being dead in the wall. This is incredible. And Sebastian still isn't done because he's going to have a run down to the hairpin. Josh naturally will defend the inside. Diego's going to be sitting wondering which line to take. Who do I follow? Is Sebastian? Ooh, he wanted to turn in, but Josh was not ready to do so. And I think that's going to cost him because he desperately wanted to try to get the best possible line for a run down the straight. Diogo, though, he's got the best of the 3 because he was the only one that got to take a natural entry into the corner.
But Job gets the run out of the corner by taking that wide line. He wasn't happy with Job. Oh my goodness, they're going 3 wide into that final chicane. Will they sort themselves out? There's a little bit of bumping and barging, and amazingly, Job goes from the back of the queue to the front of the queue in one move, and now Sanchez is making some moves on Diogo Pinto behind. So all of a sudden, your 2 champions from 2019 and 2020, they start battling, and everyone else is trying to feed off the scraps here.
3 wide into the last chicane. I thought it was going to be the wall of 2 champions really fast.
I'll give you that one, Matt. As they head on through into turns 3 and 4 then, they've sorted themselves out. It's that battle behind that I want to see there, because Sanchez has now found himself ahead of Pinto there, as you can see on the timing scoring bug on the left-hand side there. So in 8th place for Sanchez, Pinto down to 9th, Thompson. Now Thompson and Pinto, yes, they are rivals out there, the Portuguese man and the man from the Isle of Man, but they are also compatriots out of that Williams Esports outfit, so they won't want to get involved in any instance between the 2 of them, because they've got Mikael Gard right behind, who's a bit feisty. Speaking of feisty, here comes Rogers to the outside, because Job takes that defensive line into the hairpin. Now Job's clever there. He parked that car on the apex. He didn't let Rogers get the run. Oh, Rogers going up on the grass again. What on earth? That's the 2nd time this race he's gone to the grass. We're going to the replay of what happened earlier on in 3 and 4. Was there contact? I think there just was. Rogers grazed the wall, but back to live pictures here. Rogers desperate to make it ahead of Job here.
Sebastian did so well just to make that corner, and we we've seen what happens when people run there. It's so hard to rejoin and not have contact, so they both get away with it. Josh is not done. Look at how much curb he's taking, how much on the attack he is. I mean, we saw it out of the hairpin. He's in the draft. He was fully committed, and even though he had no overlap, nearly put himself into the wall on the grass trying to get a run on Sebastian, who just has to position his car very cleverly to keep him behind down the front straight as well. We'll look back to the front. There's 4 laps to go. It's almost unfortunate for poor Thomas Tetela, who's having the race of his career right now in Pesk, but he's not getting any camera time.
Really starting to show here. Onto the brakes, underneath the bridge. Job cannot afford any more mistakes like he made through turn 1 into 2. And Rogers, well, ever the opportunist, the Australian, trying to make some moves here into the hairpin. Job taking a little bit of a defensive line, but as I say, he can park that car on the apex, get the drive out the corner. That's exactly what he did. Look at that queue of cars behind Sanchez as well. Just a whole queue. The rest of the field, it seems, out there as Job and Rogers side by side down to the chicane. And is Rogers going to make this one count around the outside? Carries the speed through the chicane, not this time, almost into the wall of champions, the both of them, and behind Sanchez still ahead of Pinto, Thompson, Gage. Brian Lockwood, really good position as well, finding himself in 12th season so far, but these drivers, they're all putting it on the line here today, Matt.
Absolutely. Sanchez is coming back into this as well. I mean, we talked about the unfortunate aspect of him getting pushed down the order. Well, he's found his rhythm again. He's mentally reset, and he's got a chance to get back into this battle as well. Bit of clear track in front. That was one of the things I wanted to touch on with Tetela's lap, and Josh Rogers touched on it in the interview. Sanchez there. Following is difficult around a track like this where curves are so important, and it's so difficult to have a sight line and really get your reference points dialed on curves that punish you so severely when you do get them wrong, and the walls being so close. And Josh is still managing to attack so effectively on Sebastian right now. It's such a tricky thing to do, but this is a queue of cars behind that all could benefit if that battle continues at this point in time. Is a lot of people making moves right now. Mikael Gaeta involved in this. Josh Thompson, as we said. Thiago Pinto still in a great position in this race. It's anyone's game. Brian Lockwood, like you say, he's been, had some speed at times, but he's another one that is knocking on the door of this fight.
Yeah, Lockwood, it's not been a good season for him. On the 19 points in the championship heading into this week, so he's finding himself in a good position to get some good points. Here comes the battle for the lead now. Ellis Jr. has decided that now is the time to pull the trigger, and look at Thomas Tetela. He's going to take advantage of that because he's got the inside line for this and then the next corner, and it's going to be a change for second place. Thomas Tetela into 3, makes it ahead of Ellis Jr.
I've been in this exact situation around this circuit. It's exactly that. You want to go for a move, but it's so difficult to make the move stick. And we saw it with exactly that with Sanchez. As soon as you're forced out of line, the next guy's coming through. You can't close the door fast enough. And that was very smart from Thomas Tetela. Realized that Kevin Ellis Jr. was going to be overlapped and not get the inside for 2, positioned his car appropriately, got as deep under braking for 1 as he could, and snuck in and took that line from him. That's just great racecraft.
Now, if Mitchell de Jong's clever, he'll try and run away at the front if these two start fighting a bit more. But I think Ellis Jr. realises with actually 2 laps to go in this race, he realises that, defence, speaking of defence, Tetela didn't show any into the hairpin, and that's allowed Ellis Jr. through. But this is allowing de Jong to be able to just slightly gap these two behind him. If they start squabbling even more, then de Jong's going to run away for the lead. They can't afford to fight too hard. Tetela, 3rd place. You see him into the chicane. No, he's thinking twice against that, and it's probably the correct decision to make there. Through in towards the start, the final lap here, Matt. And Thomas Tetela has shown that he wants that 2nd step of the podium.
Yeah, good play from Kevin Ellis Jr. Just parked it up on the apex once he got on the inside. It's such a slow exit, slow corner at the hairpin that you can do that and prevent the overlap. And then it's really, you're forcing the guy on the outside to compromise his exit as well. So you can get away with it as opposed to leaving the door open in most of the high-speed corners where you try something similar. So Good read, good play, good driving from both of them to leave space, and it's not done because already Tettela's all over them. Meanwhile, we've got to go double box. How can we possibly cover everything that's going on right now? So much action. It's Josh Rogers still all over Sebastian Job further down. At this point, Graham Carroll has checked out in front of them, but this is the battle for 6th on track.
Job with a tremendous defensive display in 6th place to keep Joshua Rogers, I nearly called him Sebastian Rogers there, behind him. Up at the front though, it is De Jong, Ellis Jr. and Tettela. They're heading down towards the hairpin for the final time in this race. Ellis Jr. is flashing the lights. He's trying to get in the head of Mitchell De Jong. It's all about the run out of the hairpin and getting the power down, getting a good clean run. De Jong is trying to break the slipstream here down the back straight. Ellis Jr. has got to pick a side. If he can get alongside into the chicane, he's going to make the move. There's the Scotsman flashing his headlights, decides against it. All De Jong has to do, make it through the final chicane, and he is going to take the win. Look at the joy on his face there. He realizes his job is done, across the line to take victory in the feature race here in the Porsche Heuer Esports Supercup at Montreal. This one's not done either, because Job and Rogers heading to the line. It's going to be Job in 6th, just ahead of Rogers. Sensational battling between your 2 previous champions out there on track. Absolutely fantastic. Rest of your field is going to run through, and for the 2nd week in a row, only 26 drivers are going to finish the main race here, the feature race in this race. Good grief. There's Ricardo Rica with a battered and bruised car, and he does not score any points, even though he made it to the end of the race. Let's take a look at those race results, because it's the American, the man from California, Mitchell De Jong, who takes victory ahead of Kevin Ellis Jr., the Scotsman in 2nd place. Thomas Tettela, fantastic result there from Thomas to finish in 3rd place. Best result of the season. Zach Campbell, the American, in 4th, ahead of Graham Carroll in 5th place. And then that battle between the 2020 and the 2019 champions in 6th and 7th place. Sanchez, Mikael Gard, and Salva Talons round out your top 10. Sarika then is in 11th place in the results here, ahead of Fluke, Williams, Ramstein, Lockwood, Pinto. Thompson dropped down to 17th on that last lap, so something happened to him, with Aichan Guvan, Tommy Erskard, Jeff Giassi in 20th. Charlie Collins then recovery to 21st. He'll be disappointed with this weekend. So too will Johan Hart as well. Alexander Walters and Martin Krunke in 23rd, 24th. And Jeremy Bootlub, the last of your point scorers, with Ricardo Rico, the last of your finishers. Rest of your drivers did not finish that race. Well, let's take a breath here and head on into the Buzz post-race show here, Matt, because, well, Rogers and Job, these two just keep on giving out there, don't they?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, I feel guilty because sometimes we give them so much attention, and there's so many other drivers doing such exceptional work. I mean, Thomas Tettela is the driver of the day for me. What a performance from him. A great result. Held on at the front, was every bit as fast, made some great daring opportunistic moves, and yet we still focused on Job and Rogers because they're just always on it, and you can't tell me that it doesn't matter. I mean, I know Joe is a little bit behind. Rogers has this cushy lead. When they're next to each other on track, you can be damn sure that's all that matters in that moment. They want to beat each other. That is a rivalry at this point.
Well, if you can get that victory over your rival here and against the person that you lost the championship to last season, Rogers will want to get that position to try and get a notch there against Job, to try and get that mental edge to say, look, I can beat you anytime I want. But Job, that was crucial for him. Yes, I know it's not really gaining many points against Rogers in the championship, but it's crucial for him. But let's not forget the front three. Great driving from all three of them. And Matt, you've got Mitchell De Jong, your race winner. Yeah,
talking to him a lot lately. Another fantastic result this season as you continue to impress Mitch. I'll forgive Josh. He might be a little tired right now for not doing a cartwheel behind you. He still owes us one, but that's a good result for you in Montreal.
Absolutely. Last time we were here was 2019, the very first season of the Porsche Esports Supercup. And, Josh got one away from me right at the end, the last couple laps. So, man, after, last week being so close to a win and honestly really having a difficult time in practice to come away with a win here, this is incredible. My first in the series, in the feature. And it feels so good. I really need to give a big shout out to all my teammates because I was struggling so hard in practice just to put it together. So big shout out to the guys for, getting me up to speed, doing all the setup work. Obviously we had a week to prepare for this one, which is a track where you really need kind of 2 weeks, maybe 3. So, everyone just grinded it out. Just huge shout out to them.
Pretty impressive. This is your first feature win. I didn't even realize that because I'm kind of used to seeing you at the front now. But Josh said it was better to be at the front around this track for sight lines as opposed to other tracks where drafting and whatnot, tire saving has been more the strategy. Would you agree with that? Were you more comfortable in the front than maybe blindly going at some of those walls?
Without a doubt. This track obviously is so difficult with the curbs. As you guys have seen, we really launched the car off of them, which is very fun, but also it's very hard to hit right. Just having a clean track in front of you where you can just see exactly what's going on is so helpful here. As you saw at the end, I nearly threw it away really in the last few times through the last chicane. Very difficult to get right. So honestly, the fact that we didn't have any catastrophic crashes in this 20-lap feature was kind of like a miracle for me after practice. So man, it feels so good.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, the other thing too is I know he's your teammate, but this is a good points haul overall, and surely you've got to be thinking about the championship for yourself as well.
Yeah, no doubt. We just have to kind of take it one race at a time. I would say these remaining tracks are a little bit more racy. Some of these are still very driver based, but I would say now that we get into Spa, Le Mans, obviously Monza, there's a lot of draft involved in what we already have quite a bit of draft in. So hopefully I can channel some of my NASCAR experience into that and,
Bump drafting?
Yeah, potentially, but just kind of play the game right. So, we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, hey, congratulations. First feature win. I'm impressed by that stat alone. It seems like it seems like so natural for you, but great result.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I am very impressed by that, Paul. That statistic. I mean, he's been so consistent all year. Has Mitchell de Jong, and that's another great haul of points. He's certainly become someone with 4 races now left on the calendar we have to look at and very closely consider as a front runner in this championship.
He's certainly been putting the pressure on, that's for sure. He'll be glad with the win here and getting some points back off of Josh Rogers. But let's tell to your second place driver then, Matt.
Yeah, another driver that we have to also consider as an absolute contender in this championship, Kevin Ellis Jr., proving that you definitely come into this season focused. You were impressive last year, but this year's a whole other level again. I feel like your consistency at the front has been remarkable and no different here.
Yeah, I didn't expect to get that result today, I've got to be honest. I was really struggling a lot in practice, and this really hasn't been a track that's favoured me much in the past. So, to rock up here today and do what we've done, I think was really good. It was a great day for the team in general. I think, it's all well and good saying that I've got better, but a huge testament has to go to the rest of the team as well. Those are the guys that push me forward every single week, and to have Zach on pole and finish 4th in the feature was a great day. Great day for RLL. So yeah, just really grateful for the group that I'm surrounded by at the minute. Everyone's working really well together, and every single week we think, maybe this might not be the week that we rock up and we're good, and every single week we're still right where we need to be. So yeah, it's just been a great season so far, and hopefully we can carry that for the last 4 rounds. Yeah,
what track are you looking forward to the most out of the last 4?
I'd say it's got to probably be Nordschleife. I had a good run there last year. Had a promising start to the feature there, and unfortunately cooked the tires off it a bit and lost the lead, and eventually dropped down to 4th. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting there. It's a great circuit, especially in this car. So I've had that one circled from the start of the year.
All right, well, I like that. That's one of my own right there. Gotta love the Nordschleife. So best of luck. Hey, good result again today. This is shaping up to be a pretty good championship.
Yeah, much appreciated, guys.
There we go. I think if he didn't have 6 million desktop icons, his camera might be a little quicker there, Paul. But the man of the day for me, Thomas Tettala, that is a heck of a result for you. I mean, that's a huge points tally. And you had pace. You very easily could have found yourself on the front if it had gone a little differently. What was different for you coming into Montreal that made the difference?
So I actually don't really like this track. I didn't have that much practice, but I think we finally managed to get the qualifying warm-up thing correctly. I've had really good race pace the whole season, but this was the first time that I could actually get close in qualifying. I even didn't really get a good lap in qualifying, but it was still enough for P11, I think. Yeah, it's much easier to get close to the top when you start that much higher.
I think, you've been quite close a number of times in sprint races, but not enough to get in that top 8 for the reverse grid. I mean, is that something you need to focus on? Because it doesn't seem like you're caught in drama too often. You seem to race very well, but is it qualifying? Is it a little bit more luck? Is it, circumstances? Because today was excellent. That was a heck of a race by you.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's my driving that is the problem qualifying. I think it's just that we just didn't find the right way to warm up the tires. So even with a good lap, I would be half a second off the pole. So I think that was the biggest issue. So I hope we can keep it up for the next races.
Yeah, well, great haul of points for you. Again, going to move you forward in the championship, and I look forward to seeing more of that, because the battle at the end was really, really touch and go. Were you a little worried there, maybe that you might get contact with Kevin, but it was pretty close in the hairpin on the exit?
Yeah, I was just taking it easy. I didn't want to risk anything. I knew he might try to pass me and stuff, but my goal was to just finish the race. And if the two in front crash each other out, that's great. But I didn't want to race at all.
Fair enough. I mean, it nearly worked out. That was a close call, and you held on very well. Congratulations on the podium.
Thank you.
And there you go. That's our 3 top finishers, Paul. But it's so hard to narrow it down and speak to just them, because there was so much action that went on deeper in the field this time as well.
Absolutely. I mean, we were always going to see that front 3 just stay in position, look after the cars, look after the tyres, and really push on. But I want to bring Connery into this, because Connery, there was drama all the way through the field. What were you seeing out there that we were maybe missing out slightly?
Well, there was a lot of radio chatter going on, especially with Daniel Lafuente and Josh Thompson. They were very, very frustrated about the positions they were stuck in. And I think I remember Seb Hawkins, who's basically the team boss of the both of them, saying the only way this is going to end is in tears. And of course, there was a bit of a smash ahead of them. So it's kind of a little bit of a Nostradamus move there, just predicting what's going to happen in the future. But that's just the case further back in the pack there. It's always a little bit of trouble. But maybe that's just the nature of the track. Maybe once we go to the next circuit, maybe things will be a little bit better for those mid-pack guys, and they'll have a more ample opportunity to make their way forwards that isn't trying to move people out of the way. But yeah, a lot of frustrated drivers further down in the mid-pack. But of course, it's good to see another different winner, at least as far as a feature race is concerned, with Mitchell de Jong taking the race swing, and a great podium for Thomas Tattler, his first.
Absolutely, and Matt, this track always delivers, but we're heading out next time in 2 weeks' time to Spa-Francorchamps. These cars just love that circuit. They devour it.
They do, and these drivers love that circuit and can devour it. Personally, I'm horrible around it, but what a legendary track. We get back into some elevation, drafting again, massive straightaway. That's going to be a huge factor. Tires definitely as well, because you've got a mix of high speed and some low speed. The bus stop, corner 1, it's got a mix of everything. So yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun to get there, and more of a European track. I think probably, if you had to look statistically across all sims, not just iRacing, it's probably the most lapped track in sim history. So these guys definitely will be on their game.
Absolutely. So we can look forward to that then in 2 weeks' time. we'll head to this place, the magnificent Spa-Francorchamps. March the 13th, set it in your calendars because you will not want to miss those races here in the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Supercup. But it was a drama-filled day here today in Montreal. It was a tremendous win for Joshua Rogers in the sprint race, but Mitchell de Jong able to take the victory here in the feature race. From everybody here on the broadcast, from Matt Trevitt, from Connery Maddock, and also from Will Vincent for the countdown and the All-Stars show, it's goodbye here and good night.